Work, nigga. Gang, B-I-B-O,
One double O,
B-I-B-O.
Big B-boy on them gang shit, you know, rockin' nigga. Gra, became my blunt, bitch.
You're watching the master at work.
Smoke 'em like a BK, that's GG. On the range, still smoke on your OG. Tryna put a BK on TV. Now tells little hoe come don't meet. Now tells little bro come link up.
Hey yo, what up, squad? Hey man, welcome back to HOODROK Entertainment, realest, dopest, most active reaction channel on YouTube. Bro, for the first time, you already know what to do. Click up, squad up, tap in, whatever you want to call it. Hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and do that. Make sure you hit the notification bell too. You don't want to miss nothing, bro. I bring nothing but fire. And yo, this one here. So this one here is just a short documentary, a 15-minute, 16-minute documentary, the rise of the Albanian Mafia in Europe. Now I've done a couple of videos on the Albanians, like, you know, how they're running shit, running the coke business and, you know, the sex trade over there in the UK. So yo, and you got to remember, Mafia is different these days. It's not like the Mafia. When you hear the word Mafia, people picture the dudes in suits and, like, you know what I mean, the dons and all that shit. You got to remember, bro, that the Mafias and different Mafias and that they've all changed these days, right? So, like, yo, anyway, we're going to get into this. I'm sure this will tell you more. So run the numbers up on this. You know what to do, bro. HOODROK Entertainment Twitter. Shout out to all my chapeys out there. Let's do it.
For several years, Albanian organised crime has been on the rise in European markets. Known for their classic prostitution activities, the latter have begun moving into more
My bad. Had no lighter. My bad.
Classic prostitution on the rise. For several years, Albanian organised crime.
Hey yo, if you want to know what one of these are, tap in on my live streams and I'll show y'all how to make one. Alright?
Has been on the rise in European markets.
Put your weed in the top, right there, bitch.
Prostitution activities. The latter have begun moving into more
complex
criminal circuits.
Oh, hell yeah.
Plus de 70 personnes interpellées. C'est le résultat d'une vaste opération policière menée dans 5 pays européens.
5 different European countries.
La Belgique est concernée.
L'enquête qui a commencé il y a quasi un an ciblait plusieurs clans de la mafia albanaise.
Of course, it's the drug
the Albanians, what's up?
Them up the crime, especially in Europe's largest market, where they are now well established. Moreover, the cocaine supply chain of the Kompania Bello group has been considered by Europol as one of the most active organizations in cocaine trafficking. This is due to their presence at the 2 most important ports in Europe.
Rotterdam.
So, where does the success and expansion of this Albanian-speaking mafia come from? Albania is first of all very well situated. It occupies a strategic point in the drug business. For example, the Balkan region is very well established as a transit point for heroin. Heroin often originates in Afghanistan, then passes through Turkey, and finally arrives in Albania, where it is usually cut, thus reducing its purity.
Yo. Anyway, so another cool thing. So here's something cool about New Zealand, right? So because we're not landlocked with any countries, we're an island nation in the middle of the Pacific, right? We get our cocaine direct from Colombia. It comes from the Peruvian coast, straight to our country, uncut, pure as fuck. You know what I mean? But the number one drug of choice here in New Zealand, well, it'll always be weed. But then it's meth. You know what I mean? Heroin's fucking junkie drug, bro. I can't stand that shit.
This technique allows them to increase their profits considerably. Control of a Balkan section and the Adriatic Sea allows them to distribute the drug to other markets. By way of illustration,
Y'all niggas on some big player shit.
the latter had already been accused in the 1990s of having supplied up to 90% of the
Switzerland?
goods in Switzerland.
Shit.
This is where many of the narcotics, someone called it a narcotics highway. Many of the narcotics that are produced or brought to Albania are brought to the rest of Europe in this body of water.
Thus, the prices for this drug differ, depending on
Damn.
its final destination. On the other side, via the same network as heroin, we have cannabis, which is exported from Albania to Turkey. According to the Italian anti-mafia division, Albania is the main source of cannabis in Europe.
Oh, for real?
Indeed, the cannabis industry, which grew rapidly in the early 2000s, has resulted in a distribution in part of Europe.
Damn.
A shootout in Albania's so-called Cannabis Kingdom has left one police officer dead and 2 injured. It came after a raid on the village of Lazarat on Wednesday, where an armed group has rolled up and is yet to surrender. According to Italian...
Y'all really about that shit. Yo, the Albanians ain't playing,
one
man.
police officer dead and 2 injured. It came after a raid on the village of Lazarat on Wednesday, where an armed group has holed up and is yet to surrender. According to Italian police, 900 tons of cannabis are produced there annually.
Revenues were estimated at 4.5 billion, which was nearly a third of Albania's GDP during this period.
Yo, what? Because I know Albania is amongst the poorest countries in Europe, right? Shout out Elbows for that info too. But yo, for real though, like a third of the fucking, come on, bro. So playing with Albanians.
Revenues were estimated at 4.5 billion, which was nearly a third of Albania's GDP.
Like New Zealand's marijuana drug trade fucking is worth a couple of billion. Right, and that's impressive seeing as we've only got 5 million people. But our GDP's way more than that. Like, you know what I mean?
During this period. But as the Albanian government has pledged to beat the expansion of cannabis production,
good luck, bro.
Will bring normality and law and order to that region. This action will continue to go on. The police are working on it. They're fighting against armed militants.
a drastic eradication of cannabis plant cultivation was required.
Oh shit, look at 2016, it just went through the roof. Yo, y'all was really on that.
And in 2016,
I get my shit.
Carried out an
I get my shit straight from the grower. You know what I mean? I get my shit straight from the grower. But I'm only fucking with ounces and maybe a pound here and there every now and again. But I fuck these niggas on. Niggas on some other shit.
Operation to destroy the massive plantations in the territory. However, in 2019.
Look at this kid. Yo, this dude over here on the left, he going home blazed. He ain't even driving out of there, bro. Like, he is asleep in the back seat on the way on the way back.
However, in 2019,
I wanna be that nigga.
New resurgence.
I wanna be that nigga. Yo, what?
Was a new resurgence of
The total
production.
police report 1,200%. Oh my god, 1,200% increase. Bro, are you kidding me? God damn, that's insane, right?
Criminal organizations started to grow closer.
Yo, I didn't give a fuck what kind of statistic you use that with. That's huge in any facet, bro. In any aspect. No matter what you apply that to, that's massive. Shit.
To lucrative customers, creating their own indoor cannabis farms. Closer in Italy.
That's what happens, bro. So, yo, that's what happens here in New Zealand, right? So I gangbanged for 26 years, bro. And just in hand, right, that wasn't even choreographed. It was just sitting there. But, yo, my criminal record, right? You can pause it on there, read it anytime you like, or they show you a couple of pages. Now, some of these charges were for this, exactly what he's talking about, right? So you got things like willful damage, injured with intent to cause grievous bodily harm with a stabbing weapon. You've got injured with intent to cause GBH. You've got assault with a blunt instrument, aggravated assault with a blunt instrument, resist police. So some of these were things where we heard that there was a drug dealer, right? One of those charges. I can talk about one of those charges, right? Where I heard that there was a drug dealer. This is when I was gangbanging and I was active, and I heard there was a dealer that was running a shop in the area, right? And none of my homies knew about it. So I went and kicked his fucking door down. Stabbed him a couple times, you know what I mean? I got 5 years, 9 months for that. But took all his drugs. Now that's a risk you run if you ain't got the backing of any of the local gangs. You're at risk, bro.
Albanian-speaking criminal groups have become involved with Italian mafias in drug trafficking, which regularly gives rise to various police operations. It was the geographical proximity that allowed a link between the two criminal organizations. Indeed, it was in the 1990s that Albanian migrants arrived in Italy in search of a better life.
Yo,
some of those who arrived illegally were sometimes recruited into Italian criminal groups.
Yo, y'all got those close ties with the Mafia, bro.
Starting with all kinds of smuggling, passing drugs became the most lucrative. They then started selling cannabis.
Hey, that's anywhere in the world, bro. Drugs. When it comes to illegal, making money illegally, bro. Drugs, bro.
In Italy, one of their largest markets.
Started their criminal activity in Italy, and they have kind of like
against transition to organized crime
or other mafia organizations in Italy.
By supplying Italy, the Albanian clans were gaining in importance and beginning to have influence by creating direct relationships with the members of the Italian mafia.
Yo!
Then came the turn of cocaine.
In the last 2 decades, criminal groups from the Balkan have also entered the lucrative business of cocaine trading.
In the 2000s, some Albanian-speaking criminals moved to South America, partly as a favor.
Yo, y'all niggas getting around, bruh. Y'all niggas getting around, bro. Albania's small. Albania's not that big, bruh. But y'all niggas, but you are popular. There are a lot of Albanians, bro. Like, don't get it twisted. But damn.
To Italians who had close links with the cartel. America.
A favor?
Partly as a favor to Italians who had close links with the cartels there.
Criminals from the Balkans were randomly contracted from the Italian mafia and other criminal networks to drive cocaine from ports throughout the continent and distribute it in the streets of European capitals.
This contact point
far away from home, bro.
The experience.
So, yo, this is what I was saying, right? New Zealand's cocaine comes from here. Direct. From a ship. Direct from here. Right. So, yo, that's pretty dope to know that you guys are there, because we're not far. We're just off screen here. So just off screen here in New Zealand. It's just there, right? Well, not just there, but there's no countries between New Zealand and the Peruvian coast.
Accumulated over the years,
the South American coast,
them to establish themselves in South America and create partnerships to distribute cocaine to Europe.
Yo.
For example, Ecuador has emerged as an attractive location for Albanians and other criminal syndicates. Around 2012, An Albanian named Arba Sakac established his business in the banana trade, which was also used to smuggle cocaine in shipments to Europe. These shipments also came from Colombia, resulting in a record seizure in Albania. Various court cases have ensued as a result. According to the DEA director, Ecuador was becoming a melting pot of foreign traffickers from Albania to China, all of them getting the goods.
Facts, from Albania to China, and everywhere in between, you know what I mean? And yo, that's not, you know, you can give credit to all our countries for that, because we're all, you know, like New Zealand, Albania, obviously direct from Colombia. You know, well, not direct because it's more direct from Italy to Colombia, but pretty much the same thing, you know what I mean? But the Colombians have been doing this shit for a long time, right? You got to remember that. If long before they had connections with our countries, they were doing it with other countries. Like, they've always been that hub for that shit, you know what I mean?
To distribute them to their respective countries. But it was the situation in Colombia that changed everything.
Colombians voted no to the first peace deal signed by President Juan Manuel Santos and Marxist FARC rebel leader Rodrigo Londono last month.
The revolutionary armed forces of Colombia, which controlled large parts of plantation territory, began to lay down their arms.
Una gran noticia para Colombia. El
the peace deal is progressing.
Las FARC están ingresando a las zonas y en los próximos
Bro, you remember when Pablo Escobar and the Medellin cartel had that shit, had the country in the fucking, in their grips, bro. They had the country in a vice grip. They were squeezing the blood out of that shit, you know what I mean? It was insane, bro.
But other armed groups soon emerged to take control. At the same time, there was a political stop to the eradication of aerial plantations. Not to mention the peasants, who continued to cultivate for lack of alternatives offered by the government.
Facts. And yo, did you hear that? That's the key right there, bro.
Cultivate for lack of alternatives
by the government.
Offered by the government.
Facts. But after them
in 2016, cocaine production skyrocketed in Colombia. From 2013 to 2019, it has increased by more than 4 times, together with the increase in demand for traffic to Europe. Thus, the Italian Mafia, the Ndrangheta, would control 80% of the cocaine that reaches Europe. According to Italian prosecutor Nicola Gratteri.
That's a lot of cocaine, bro.
Not being able to handle all these huge quantities on their own, the Colombian suppliers started to look for additional partners, including the Albanians, already well positioned.
Yeah, hey, that's it, yo. So when it skyrocketed, the Albanians, what they'd done earlier, their favor, paid off, bro. The favor paid off. Now they paid their favor to the Italians and went over and helped out the Colombians, sort of distributing the drugs. Fast forward to 2016. The drug market goes through the fucking roof in Colombia. They need help. Who do they look for? Who gets first dibs at the shit? The Albanians, my nigga. Yo.
Thus, the Albanian Mafia has gone from an organization that gives a logistical hand to the Italian Mafia to one that is able to run its own supply chain in Europe.
Creating and running the whole chain, from arranging big shipments directly from Latin America to street distribution throughout Europe, having powered and raised the
balling out motherfuckers. That's why in all the fucking Albanian videos I've reacted to, all the fucking music videos I've reacted, y'all niggas are all balling out and you own your shit. These ain't rented Rolls Royces, they're not rented Mercedes, they're not rented cars, bro. They motherfucker, they own these Lamborghinis and shit, bro. These Bentleys, it's crazy, bro.
This is well demonstrated with Kompania Bello. composed of a dozen Albanian criminal organizations benefiting from a privileged relationship with South American cocaine producers. Kompania Bello enabled its members to import and distribute large quantities of drugs from South America via Dutch and Belgian ports. Indeed, from his prison cell in Ecuador,
these niggas got the hookup.
Rzepi coordinated a sophisticated transnational operation, controlling the flow of cocaine from South America to Europe.
From his motherfucking cell, bro. I spent 17 years in prison, right? I had a couple little hustles going on, bro, but ain't nothing going on like that. Like, you controlling international, like, I know that this happens a lot, bro. He's not the only one. There are plenty of other big time, I don't know, international dealers that are locked up that are doing this shit from behind bars. There's plenty of them, but it's impressive nonetheless, bro. You know what I mean? Especially when you kind of come from that world yourself. And, you don't get to... I never got to meet those niggas. You know how fucking far up the chain them niggas were? You know what I mean? Oh, some real nigga shit, though.
Europe. Rzepi had been accused of a double murder in Albania and an armed robbery in Belgium, for which he was locked up in a prison in Merkspla, Belgium. But the prison was not suitable for criminals of his kind, so he escaped.
The prison wasn't suitable. What the fuck you mean the prison wasn't suitable? What kind of prison is not suitable? Bro, you are not escaping from any New Zealand jail, bro. I can fucking swear that on God, bro. There have been people that escape. Yes, there have been. My little brother, he escaped. But I'm telling you, bro, like, damn, you've got to work your way up to, like, the fucking low security units and shit. It takes a long time to get there. But from the main jails, nah, bro, that ain't happening. Not happening. But, damn, y'all niggas on some other shit. Like, I fucked with kilos and shit, you know what I mean? I've seen kilos, I've had to move, I've had to, do a couple drops myself, and do a couple pickups myself, and all that shit. But y'all niggas on, bro, that's on some Pablo shit, my nigga. Y'all niggas on some Pablo shit. Albania on some fucking Pablo
he
shit.
still ended up in prison in Ecuador for drug trafficking.
Albanian speaking criminal group, labeled one of the most active in Europe.
So Kompania Bello would function as a transnational criminal federation that aims to increase the profits for each member. For example, LD Drizdari had Albanian gangs in Rotterdam and Antwerp receiving cocaine and activating distribution.
We zien wel eens mensen rondlopen die soms zwaar bewapend zijn. Dat kan je zien met camera's.
Ja, niggas ain't playing with this cocaine shit.
De ogen dan op die terminals zien we mensen rondlopen die daar absoluut niet thuis horen. Die zijn daar.
Yo, he pissed off. Yo, he's disgusted.
Weten wij om de verdovende middelen, om de drugs uit te...
This nigga not feeling it.
Similarly, the brothers Gertie and Edmund trafficked cocaine from the Netherlands to Italy, Germany, and other European states. Estimates show that these two brothers were distributing at least 50 kilograms of cocaine per week, which gave a turnover of about 70 million euros annually. But the figures could have been much higher. Finally, in September 2020, the Albanian criminal syndicate was dismantled, with 20 arrests in 10 different countries. The investigation lasted 5 years. It was the biggest operation against Albanian-speaking organized crime.
For real?
But what the Albanian Mafia has done is to change the whole business model. Traditionally, those who import, wholesale, and sell on the street work separately. Instead, Albanian criminal groups have taken over the entire process, from ordering to distributing the goods to Albanian-speaking affiliates in Europe, such as the UK-based Albanians clan. Albanians became known to the general public thanks to their social medias, where they posted themselves with huge amounts of money.
Go check out my reactions to the Albanians, bro. You know I fuck with these niggas. You know I fuck with these niggas, bro. Vins and shit. You know what's up, bro. Hell yeah.
Where they posted themselves with huge amounts of money.
My niggas was up.
To improve their reputation and recruit young people. Not to mention their rap songs, where they talk about trafficking.
Stealth, my nigga, what's up? Stealth Buns. You know what it is.
That's small in number, but big in impact. So we have seen an emergence.
There's some adrenaline. Adrenaline. Yeah, my favorite Albanian song, bro. Yo, Stealth and Basement, fast.
Particularly around enforcing the drug trade.
According to the National Crime Agency report, Albanian groups represent only 0.8% of organised crime in the UK, but play a disproportionately large role in the cocaine market. Indeed, they've taken control.
I see what that means. So you know, they're not really, because you know, when you're talking about crime, they're talking about everything from pickpocketing to running scams to, you know what I mean, all that shit, bro. But the Albanians are more focused on the drug market, you know what I mean? So it might look like a small percent, but that small percent is focused on one thing rather than the whole fuck, you know what I'm saying?
This huge market, where the capital, London market, is already estimated to be worth over £1 billion euros.
Oh, euros, sorry. Shit.
Albanese bendes teisteren ons land. Ze zijn betrokken bij zware delicten in de georganiseerde misdaad met veel geweld tot gevolg.
The Albanians eliminated the competition, not just by violence but by their savings, which allowed them to offer the same product at low prices. Indeed, they were getting cartel cocaine at around £5,000 a kilogram when consumers thought they were getting a good deal from wholesalers in the Netherlands.
Yo, 5,000. What? Yo, we're paying twice that much, bro. On God, bro. We're paying twice that much, bro. Just over twice that much. Oh, what?
Selling at £22,500.
Facts. There you go. Now that's more like it. Now that's more like the price I'm talking about. Like, what the fuck? Just over twice as much, bro. It's insane.
Iedereen die een beetje de Europese pers volgt en de
literatuur
die weet.
Hold on a minute.
Iedereen die.
Nah, that's way too. That's we're getting us for about. Hold on. I could probably get a key, me, myself, for 20. 4 times as much, bro. Oh, God. You know, I'm not going to holler at the connects. I don't need to pay no one in between. I need to pay no middleman. Like, middleman's are tight, you know what I mean? I've got some homies that'll put it tight. But, bro, definitely paying 4 times as much. No, if I was paying twice as much, bro, I'm getting a Mecca deal, my niggas shit. Oh, niggas.
Die een beetje de Europese pers volgt en de literatuur, die weet dat men vanaf Spanje tot en met Duitsland, Noord-Duitsland worstelt met die enorme toestromen van cocaïne. Deels als gevolg van de overproductie in Zuid-Amerika, deels vanwege het toegenomen gebruik in de westerse samenleving.
Thanks. They're producing it faster than you can sell the shit.
Definitely. It was necessary to have control of the European ports. Indeed, most of the cocaine that comes to Europe arrives by sea, especially via the big European ports.
Same here in New Zealand. Bro, you gotta remember, that Pablo Escobar was only able to export, 20 to 30% of the cocaine production, of the daily cocaine production, right? Every day. He was only able to export 20% of that day's production of cocaine. So what happened to the other 80%? Bro, they'd store it and shit. Like the amount of coke that was found after Pablo was killed was insane, bro. They talk about the money they found, but yo, they don't talk as much or enough about how much coke they actually found in Colombia, all stored in shit in these houses and containers and underground bunkers. It was insane, man.
Ports such as Antwerp or Rotterdam. For this, the Albanian Mafia had to collaborate with the Ndrangheta.
Huh?
Collectively, the ports in Belgium and the Netherlands employ over 200,000 people. According to police,
that's a lot of people.
Cohort of them work for Ndrangheta, but also for the Albanian Mafia.
Belgjika ka dhe një komunitet të madh të shtetave shqiptare. Disa tjetër është fakti që Belgjika është një vend shumë strategjik për grupet kriminale, sepse është një nga urat kryesore të trafikut, sidomos të kokainit.
Often, Albanian-speaking organizations use Belgium and the Netherlands as an access platform to smuggle cocaine to other European states. There are reportedly about 15 criminal groups in the Benelux that have links to those based in South America.
Damn.
In 20 years, Albanian criminals have gone from being outsiders to the biggest distributors in one of the world's largest drug markets. And according to a former member of the National Crime Agency, the Albanians are now well positioned, and their importance in the European cocaine trade is only likely to expand.
That was only last year. God damn. Yo, that was a dope video. Yo, that was fire, bro. I'm glad I tapped into that. No, because that only adds to the other documentaries that I've reacted to on Albanians, right? And, you know, the gangs and all that shit, and how they're working the Mafia and all that. So that's dope, bro. Young niggas are hooked up. I'm going to tell you this, bro. Right? New Zealand's hooked up. And one good thing about New Zealand is you don't hear much about us. We're so far away. There's so many countries between my country and your country that you'll hear about them before you hear about us. But y'all niggas are actual hooked up. Like, we hooked up, but y'all niggas are actual hooked up, right? And you ain't, you hooking up. Y'all niggas are hooking niggas up. Stop playing. We only import. We don't do shit else, bro. We import our drugs to our own country, and it goes from here to Australia. That's it. No, I mean, it's as far as it goes, bro. Y'all niggas on some other shit. Yo, shout out everyone for tapping in. I appreciate all the support. Y'all know what it is. HOODROK Entertainment, Twitter. Yo, stay safe, stay dangerous. We out. Peace.